know one of the hardest truths in RVing? Heck, one of the hardest truths in life is that you can do everything right and still wind up with a mess on your hands. And that's exactly what happened to Steve and Monica. They thought they had all their bases covered. They bought from a family-owned dealer, and that's good. They took care of their camper. That's good. And pretty much they did what any smart RVer would do. And yet, a few years later, they're staring at thousands of dollars in water damage. But here's what makes their story worth your time. They are not out to trash anybody. They're not looking for revenge. Instead, they're dealing with it. They're dealing with it with a level head and a good attitude. And that is a lesson I think that's worth paying attention to. So I want you to listen with an open mind, and then you tell me in the comments, what would you do in their shoes? And while you're at it, go ahead and like today's video, hit the subscribe button, and check out my free RV buying resources page. I've linked to it in the description down below, or just scan the QR code you see on the screen. And if it has been a while since you've checked out my resources page, I make changes from time to time, so you might want to take a quick look. All right, let's get into today's video. So it's nice to meet you guys. I know we have not visited yet, but your email got my attention, and I'm telling you, I'm here to try and be a friendly observer and to give you my perspective. Not to tell you, not to bash anybody or any of the thing, but kind of like the people's court, if you will.
Yeah.
Sit back and listen. So let's go back to 2021. You guys bought a travel trailer. Kind of give me the 30, 45 second, if you will, overview of what you bought, why you bought it, and why you bought it from the dealer you bought it from.
Okay, so it's kind of during COVID, really. That was the one thing. So campers weren't really available at that particular point in time. And so we were kind of looking. We went to Riley's RV, and they had a camper there that we liked. It was a very good camper. We needed a bunkhouse because we got some grandkids and stuff like that. And the camper was actually locked up, and I actually had to sell it. I figured to him, is it sold? And he said, oh, no. So, and we liked it. So that was kind of how we come up with that particular floor plan.
But that wasn't our first camper. We've had 3 more before that.
Oh, you have?
In 2000 in a camper.
How did you decide on Riley's RV? I think it's RV World. We're on Riley's there in Kentucky. How did y'all decide on that dealer? I mean, did you shop around or?
We actually called. Our Puma come from Cheyenne Camping World, and that's who we really wanted to buy from. But unfortunately, during the COVID, they just did not have anything there at the time. So Riley's we just walked in, and we really didn't do much researching on it. They just happened to have the floor plan I liked. So,
well, just so you know, before we visited, I did a little checking on Riley's. I always like to kind of find out what, and not just Google reviews, but evidently Riley's is a very well-respected, it's a family-owned RV dealership, and around 40 years or so. And it's a smaller dealership, so it's not like these big chains. And all those things are important to me. I mean, I think that we get better service when we've got somebody that's a family-owned dealership. So tell me about, you take delivery in 2021. It was a Catalina travel trailer. How was it? And when did you notice something started that wasn't right?
If you would have asked me last year how we loved our camper, we would have loved it, and we still do. I mean, we don't hate it. I mean, we still like the camper. But it wasn't until when?
It was this June.
June, she noticed something wrong with the light. The light flickered. So we went in there, looked, and it looked like, really by the light, it looked like there were some nails or something coming through the ceiling. I first thought, well, we might have had a limb come through because we were camping. And there wasn't nothing there. And that's when we did call the dealership and say, hey, we need somebody to come in here and look at this and give us an idea of what's going on.
Okay, so up until then, where was the RV? Or do you guys? You're not full timers, but as I understand, was it like not a destination trailer, but you had it at a campground?
Yes, it's a seasonal spot. It Land Between the Lakes.
How
we
often?
It's a dry camp, so it's no electricity, no water. We rough
it.
Well, you sent the pictures. It looks like a beautiful campsite. It truly does.
It is. It's gorgeous.
So you let the trailer stay there. Basically, the trailer lived there. of in that campsite,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah, for 9 months out of the year.
So did you visit it during that 9 months?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yes, we're there mostly every week.
Okay. When you stored it, where is it now? Is it back in the campsite?
It is back in the campsite. Yeah.
Okay. Are the slides out right now? The slides out?
No, because of this going on right now, we put the slides in.
Were the slides ever, did you always leave them in when you were gone? Always leave, what kind of tell me that?
When we were camping, we left them out. Now, when I brought the camper home, anytime I had it and stored, or we stored here at my house, naturally, we live on a farm. So I had the room to put it, and I always keep the slides in.
But
while we're camping, they are out. They were until this situation.
So for 9 months out of the year, unless it was at the shop or at your yard, basically for 9 months during camping season, the slides were out.
They are out, yes.
Okay. And so who did the repair work on it, or did you have any dealer repair work done on it before just a few months ago?
No, we have not had anything done with it yet because we've been ongoing with Riley's. They wanted us to file it with our insurance. I told them the insurance ain't going to cover this. There's just no way the insurance is. But they want us to do it. We did file it with the insurance. Of course, the insurance denied it. I knew that was going to happen. We asked if we do have the extended warranty on the camper, but the extended warranty will just cover the seals and doesn't cover any of the damage. That's the way I understood it being told to me. The thing was that the dealer sent the tech out. He looked at it and he said it was what he would call a manufacturer defect with the taping system. They've been having evidently they've had a lot of problems with the tape not holding well on these slides.
So Monica, what was it? You said, I think in the email about a water leak. It wasn't just the nails coming through the ceiling.
There was, well, it looked like nails. It was actually the wood, I guess, breaking apart or something, and it looks like nails. And then on the slide wall, there's like bumps and nail looks on the side of the wall, and then our floor on the other side. Evidently, the water went down and it's dropped the floor, and we've got like a big gap at the bottom of our slide where the floor's dropped.
Did they say how long the leak had been taking place? It sounds like if it was a factory defect, it probably leaking since day one.
The dealership won't come out and tell me how long it's leaking. They say it's been leaking for a while.
What have they blamed you yet? I mean, I'm not trying to.
The tech told us when he come out and looked at it, he told us that it was a manufacturer defect. It was no fault of our own. There was nothing that we could have done to prevent it. And so that's where we went from there. But then when we went to the dealership with it to get an estimate, then they said that it was maintenance, that it wasn't, that the seals weren't properly maintained. But it wasn't seals to begin with. It was this tape. I mean, it wasn't like a rubber seal. It was
just
tape.
So you know, one of the knee-jerk responses I think that many dealers use is they turn the tables and say it's your fault for not maintaining the RV properly. And that
is what Forrest River. We actually called Forrest or Catalina. Was it Catalina?
Coachman.
And talked to them. And of course she said, well, you should have inspected your seals. I said, I inspect my seals. Trust me. I've owned 4 campers. I know what to look for. They were fine. Well, you should have had a dealer inspect it then.
Okay. When you are in the RV now, can you smell anything? It was like, I kind of smell the moisture. But and here's why I say this. I'm not trying to point fingers at you or them or Forest River. I'm trying to present an outsider's perspective. So I've got a little bit of experience with RVs, and there's a little bit of truth. And yep, I see that with all the way around, but almost no one wants to go, we own it, because it's expensive. Your RV, and I asked other dealers, I know quite a few dealers, and I asked those who sold Catalinas or sell Catalinas, and they said that they are familiar with this problem. It's not all of them. It was the tape issue, as I understand, but this is not something that's unusual. In fact, a lot of Jaycos apparently had the same issue. But when it comes to who's responsible, you've got technically your warranty is run out because it's a 2021. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So the manufacturer can technically say, well, sorry, too late. And they have a point. And the dealer can say, well, you didn't maintain your seals. And it's like trying to prove that you didn't steal something. Well, you can't prove what you can't prove when you did it. And yet you took it back in, or they gave you a bid. That's
an estimate.
But Monica, tell me about that. Tell me what their estimate was and what you thought when you received the estimate.
Well, we had brought our camper home and stored it in our garage for a little while just to get it dry, because we didn't, want it sitting out in the rain, and we were having tons of rain here. So then we called them, and it was going to take a little while to get it in. So it sat in the garage, and our garage is hot, so it dried as far as I know. And we took it down there to Riley's, I believe on August the 4th. August the 4th is when we took it to them. And they kept it for almost 3 weeks. And I called several times, and we got the estimate, and it was almost $12,500. Most of that being labor. I think the parts are like $3,500.
Yeah, I made some notes.
It's all labor.
$3,500 and $8,300 or so in labor, which is, I mean, I understand. You're in a sense, if I'm trying to look at some positive stuff here, in a sense, you're lucky that it was what they call stick and tin, because those are repairable. Much easier to repair than the laminated kind. Have you price shopped the bid at other dealers?
No, not yet. And that's something we're going to look into.
We had thought about trading, and the 2 dealers we've called so far and told them what we had. I mean, we're honest. We told them there's water damage. Then when they called us back, they said, we're not interested in your trade. You just need to sell it yourself. So since then, we've kind of went back and forth trying to decide what to do. And we just decided we're going to keep the camper and fix it, because we didn't have any other issues with it before that. We've seen a lot of these videos where the water heaters or the air conditioners or something gives people trouble, slides. We haven't had those issues. We've just had this water damage issue. So we're going to try to fix it if we can.
I think these are like those like a time bomb. It just, you don't even know you've got it. All of a sudden the alarm goes off 3 years later, 4 years later. It's like, what? And you're stuck
we loved it last year. I mean, all up until this year.
I don't see a reason in that thing. Throw a 90% good camper away for 10% bad. You know what I mean?
Yes, but $12,500 or almost $12,500 to repair a camper. I also looked at what general ballpark is your trailer worth today if it didn't have the water damage. Do you know about the range that it's worth? What would you get?
Not 100%.
We're not 100%. I looked it up on that, I guess that NADA, and it was like 26,000 is what I was saying, but I don't know.
I don't know if that's a sale price trading.
I think that's personally, I think that's high. I think that's closer to 20,000, which and so there's a couple of things here. First off, you guys seem very reasonable. I think that leaving the slides out was a mistake. Don't ever do that again. No,
we learned that lesson.
Well, probably some slide toppers would have helped.
It would have helped, but still, if you are not traveling, if you're not using the RV, pull those slides in. It's one less possibility for water to get in, because every place there's a hole in that RV. The windows, every vent, every place is a future leak, and they don't give you a whole lot of warning. They all of a sudden you're like, wait, but you don't know when the leak started is the problem.
Right. We never saw water. Never.
And so I think that what you're experiencing is something that a lot of people experience. I believe that the bid is high. I think the other thing is that from your emails, your salesperson led you to believe that we're going to take care of everything. That 7-year ESP.
Yeah.
Yes or no?
The extended warranty, we were told that I can word it to where it covers everything. You won't have, because we questioned an extended warranty. We've never had one with any of our other previous campers, and he's had one with a vehicle that wouldn't cover anything. So we were concerned that we would be buying something that's not going to cover anything.
Do you remember how much you paid about for the ESP?
It was $3,900 ish, something like that.
Do you know that you can cancel what's left of it and get that money back? Did you know that?
Yes.
Okay. I mean,
We
I'm not
weren't
saying
sure what we should do if we, if we decided to keep it, whether we should cancel it or just go ahead and keep it since,
Well, that's a personal decision, but I'm not a big believer most of the time in ESPs. And if you're looking to save some money, if you're handy, Steve, if you can fix stuff for the most part and you stay on top of things, you may be able to save a little bit of money by canceling your ESP and getting some of that money back. You'll either get cash back or they'll apply it towards your loan balance, and you'll be in a little bit better situation. But I think that the thing to do, before I tell you the thing to do, how is your relationship with Riley's? Is it good? I mean,
yeah, the sales was good. That was fine. Of course, I know you watch tons of videos. The service department, the men and women that work in the service department, hey, they're probably overworked and underpaid, and they got a lot to do. It's a lot of the service management was really, really slow. But other than that, I'm not going to bash anybody, for that.
What I would do is, if you've got a good relationship, maintain that, take the high road, as they say, maintain that good relationship. But we're entering the slow season for RV dealers. And I think that if I were you, I would go in hand in hand and say, look, we like you guys overall. I think that you can understand where we're coming from. It was a surprise. Be prepared, because one of the things that I thought, I've got to be honest with you, one of the things that I thought is anything that's had water damage in it for 4 years, anything, it has a smell to it. It's just, and I've had water damage before, and because I've experienced it, I can walk in somebody's bathroom and go, you got a leak. And that's just my, my sniffer. And so I think that never saying, gosh, do you smell something weird? Did you smell moisture? That's a question that I have. I think the dealer will have. So that's accepting some responsibility, letting them know, maybe we didn't pay attention. No, we did maintain the seals. We did do what we were supposed to do, but maybe we should have responded sooner.
Actually, there is no smell. She's got a good sniffer. Yes, there is no smell in the camper. That was something that I can walk into a camper or used campers and say, now, something don't smell right. I can tell if you ever smoked in it, because I used to be in the smokers, so I'm an ex-smoker. I can smell cigarette smoke just like that. And we've walked into some campers that definitely can smell water damage, stuff like that, but mine's not smelling. So I don't know how extent this really could be.
Did you go and look when the dealer had uncovered some things to look at the damage on the floor?
They didn't uncover anything.
Well, how do they know how do they know how to give you an accurate quote?
He's just saying that he basically said we can do all the work from the inside of the camper, but no, nothing was uncovered because the roof tape was still there. I felt of the roof. The roof is still hard on my slide. The only physical damage you can see with your naked eyes would be the flooring, and I think you've seen a picture of that. Other than the water damage on the walls, you really can't see it unless you take a small flashlight and go above it. And that's how the tech showed us. This is how you can tell if you got water damage in your wall.
Yeah, because if we didn't see the wall damage, we just saw up there at that light because that light was flickering. And I said, that looks like nails coming through. And he said, I bet a tree limb's come through. And then when the tech come, he took a flashlight and held it up against the wall with the lights out, and you could see little bumps on the wall. But other than that, we wouldn't have known it. We would not have known it because there was no water to be seen coming out of the walls or the ceiling or nothing.
See, part of my mind is saying, you know what, just deal with it, fix it yourself, save the money, and like the rest of the trailer. But the thing that scares me now is thinking about that light flickering.
Okay, so the light flickering, I actually pulled that light down myself to look at it. Okay. I think now that it may have just been a coincidental thing. I think the switch went bad in it.
Really?
Yeah, because I can actually hit that switch and get that thing to flicker a little bit. So I really think
that switch is bad.
That the switch went bad, and we just happened to find the water damage
at the same time.
At the same time,
that it led us to it, I guess.
I hope it's just the switch. You hope it's just the switch.
It was. I pulled the wiring down. The wiring looks good. The connector looked good, and I can play with the switch, and the switch will flicker the lights. So the only thing I haven't done is actually hooked up a new light to it just to see.
What would you do differently? Let's just say, what 4 years ago, you knew what you know now. What would you have done differently, leaving your camper there for 9 months, every year? What would you do, or what would you advise others, I guess?
Okay, so the extended warranty is a joke. Don't go with any kind of extended warranty. That's not going to cover. If I'm going to give you an extended warranty on something, I'm going to give you an extended warranty on stuff I know is not going to break. That's the only way I'm going to do that. So don't do the extended warranty. It's just not worth it. I would have probably spent the money on some slide toppers just to have them on there, because it would have actually protected. And that's what the tech told me. The tech said, had we had the slide toppers, that would have made a big enough difference. And now, knowing what we know, we'll pull the slides in every time. I mean, it's just something that you didn't. And that we're not the only seasonal people up there. There's other seasonal people up there that's got campers that's been there for a lot longer than what ours has. They never pull their slides in. They don't have leaks. So I think the quality of the camper today isn't what the quality of the camper was last 10 years ago.
Since we've been looking at this water damage, we had noticed on the slides where they, I guess, attach the outside pieces, two sides. One was like 8 screws, one was 7 screws, and then we've got 2 slides. On the second slide, there was like 8 screws and only 2 screws.
Yeah, on one side of the slide, I've only got 2 screws, so I've got to go buy some screws.
And then there's no holes, so there was never a screw put in there.
They never put there's 2 screws at the top, and then we'll have to finish it up.
So there's stuff that we've seen. I mean, they've done some good things. It's kind of funny looking at campers. We've looked at some that, the gas line will be run right by the tire, and he's like, if the tire blows, that's going to hit your gas line, and ours is not.
They actually run it to the middle of the camper and come back.
They've done some really good things, but then like on the slides, it should have had 8 screws and it's got 2. So it just doesn't make sense.
It's sloppy work that is passed along. Hurry up! That these people in the back at the factories, they get paid for the number of units that go out the door, and 2, 8, whatever, is it staying in place? Okay, good enough. And it's all you're doing is paying for it for whatever 12, 15, 20 years. Some people on their RV loans, and like I said, the time bomb, it just shows up, and now you got to deal with it.
And then you're stuck with that, because nobody wants to trade. And, nobody's going to want to buy something if you tell them.
Yeah, and I mean, the good thing with us, we're not indebted to it.
We had just, funnily enough, we just paid it off like the week before we found the damage. So I know how much I paid off, and that's what's sickening.
How ironic, right? I mean, golly. Y'all have such good attitudes for a situation like you're in. I think that I would go and I would ask I believe what Riley's is doing, and go, well, we'll give them all new everything for $12,500. Essentially, that's it. And they didn't dig too deeply into it. But hey, if Steve and Monica are good for $12,500, let's give them a new everything. But you may not need a new everything.
We may not need to do everything, but since they didn't dig into it, who's to say that they don't dig into it? Oh, well, we found more damage. Now it's going to cost more.
That could very well happen.
Yeah.
I would ask them to rate, give you on a scale of 1 to 10. What's the most pressing issue that we should be concerned about? Is it the flooring? I don't know. Is it the roof? But tell me which is the most important, and break it down. How much would it cost just to go in and look at that worst case scenario, and do it a la carte instead of, okay, here's $12,500, get to work.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, as I said, we're entering the slow season. They might be willing to come down on their labor a little bit, maybe, and because that's something they can be flexible with. And they don't know. I mean, if they just spitballed it, $12,500, just to see what your reaction is, I don't know if that's the place to do the work.
Yeah, I think we're probably going to contract out somewhere else. I think I'm going to go get some other prices on it.
Yeah.
And me and my boys are pretty handy, and we're probably going to do a lot of it ourselves. I think if the floor needs replaced, I think I'm going to have someone contract a new floor in, and then I'll just do the rest myself. Replace panels, replace insulation, stuff like that, if that needs to be done.
Yeah, that may be the best step forward. I mean, the most logical, save you some money, and it is a project, but
Yeah.
you can trust
Right. We know.
I know what I do, and I know.
2 screws or 8? Man, how
Yeah.
about 1?
Or 10.
Well, I wish I could be of more help. I'm glad to hear that you didn't go spending money with a lawyer to write a dirty letter and
No.
go on social media and start bashing the dealer. I do believe that the dealer has some, if it's a family-owned dealership, you mentioned Cheyenne Camping Center earlier,
Yeah.
I can't speak on behalf of them, but I think that they would feel a little bit of, we'll work with these people, even though it's not, we don't have to work. It's kind of the right thing for people to do. And I would hope that Riley's, it's a family-owned dealership. They go, these people could have been ugly. They could have trashed us. They could have made up lies. They didn't. And I'm trying to be objective here. They're probably a good dealership, but they're also going to say, and smelling is one of those things. Well, I say, honey, can't you smell that? Nope. Well, who's telling the truth?
Well, I do have something good to say about Cheyenne. We purchased from them in 2010. We bought a 2011 Puma, and it was the best camper we've ever had. We had it for 11 years. There was nothing wrong with it when we traded it in. We were just trying to find something bigger for the family and the grandkids.
Yeah,
so we had 11 years, and it was a great camper. And they were wonderful to us.
I was going to say, it's a family-owned dealership. The same people. I don't know who your salesperson was, but everybody's been there. I think the youngest salesperson or the newest has been there 5 years. So most of them have been there a lot longer than that.
Yeah.
They were so nice to us. We came from Kentucky all the way to Iowa to get the camper, and they had everything ready. And they I haven't heard this on some of the videos of people going there. I don't know if they still do it, but they even had like a little plaque inside of our camper that said "Especially made for Stephen and Monica."
How nice!
It was super nice, super nice.
Yeah, I just came back from Cheyenne. I don't know if you met Kevin Fraser, who's the owner. He's white shirt, tie, always dressed up. Anyway, Kevin and I sat down recently and did a very long interview, and I think you guys will enjoy it. It's about the RV industry and what's going on from his perspective. He's been around in the industry since the 60s, so since he was a young man, and he's got some ideas and thoughts that he loves those small independent dealerships, and I love them too. I just wish that you guys had a better experience there with the dealer in Kentucky.
That is what it is. We've learned, you learn some lessons when you make mistakes. You learn them, like I said, with the slides, my backslide, it's the bunkhouse, and if the kids ain't there, it ain't never coming out.
Yeah, we went up there this week, and we thought it was going to rain, so we kept the slides in. And I told him, I said, well, I've learned now that what we can do with the slides closed, because we have never traveled with this one. We just take it up there. But we can get into our bedroom. We can get into the refrigerator. We have to go in through the other door to get to the bathroom. But at least we can, what he calls it turtle mode.
Yeah, I call it turtle mode. How's it doing turtle mode when it's closed up?
Yeah. So we lived that this past week when we thought it was going to rain. So.
A lot of my videos are about exposing the bad guys in this industry. And believe me, I am happy to do it. But this one isn't. This one, it's about reality. Sometimes life just happens. You can point fingers all day long, but in the end, it comes down to how you deal with it. And Steve and Monica, well, I think that they're proving that you can face a setback without letting it, steal your joy. Now, I'll throw it back to you. You tell me down in the comments, what do you take away from their story? I would really like to know. I would. Don't forget to like today's video, share it with a friend who may be dreaming about buying an RV, and do hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next. And if you're looking for America's most trusted RV dealers, limit law help, or just some plain old advice about RVing, check out the RV Wingman's resource page. The link is in the description down below. Thanks much for watching. Till next time, be safe, have fun, play nice, and don't leave your good manners at home.